Hello and welcome to my podcast. My podcast, it's called IM-MYI-GRANT. Maybe you're asking what that means. I'm gonna tell you. IM-MYI-GRANT, actually it's one word. It means immigrant. And in my podcast, I'm gonna talk with the artists around the world. Artists that they leave their countries and they are immigrants now. So they decided to live another life in another country like an artist. So let's start the day today, and I'm gonna present you my guest. She's a friend of mine. She lives in Montreal, Canada, and she was born in Mexico. And as you see, today I'm wearing the green of the flag of Mexico. This is especially for her. So let's begin. And Leslie Velázquez. So, Leslie, welcome to my podcast. How are you today?
Thank you, Aurelia. I am very good. Very, very good.
How was your day today? Did you do good stuff in your life, important stuff, or you just enjoy the summer?
Yes, I am enjoying the summer a lot. I am very happy to be here. Actually, I'm very excited. I was talking to a friend of mine just before coming here, and I said that I was very excited because I was going to be in a podcast with my friend Aurelia, and because it was a very nice project. And I realized while I was saying what I was doing next after seeing him that I was smiling. I was like, oh, that's a good sign if I am smiling while I talk about my friend's project. And that's one thing. And then it's been a bit rough these last days because it's been a bit of a running everywhere for appointments or for projects, a bit of organization, email responding, blah blah, and I haven't been sleeping very well recently, and
Maybe it's
I was
because of the
sick.
full
I
moon.
got better, so I'm trying to. Yeah, I think it was because of the full moon, but right now we are in the new moon, fresh new moon. I think that I believe in that. I want to believe in that. I want to blame something beyond my capability. Um, but I think it's also a emotional, personal uh, hurricane that I am going through. Uh,
Okay,
that makes me also feel like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But I'm good.
good. So let's be clear and let people know what's your artistic field. I know, and everybody know that this is a podcast about artists, but artists can be in many fields. So what's your artistic field?
I do mainly theater.
So you are an actress.
Among other things, I am an actress, yes. But like my
Among
field, my professional field, is theater. But I execute more. I'm not only as an actress, as an interpreter, but also as a uh, co production assistance, organization, management. Yeah, so but
so
mainly in
you are
theater. I
working.
am an actress and I work also in TV, but it's different.
So you are working in a company, kind of, right? Where you are doing a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah, I do have a company, but I also have other projects as an actress that like they are managed by companies that are not mine. So
Ah, okay, good. So tell me, what's your educational background? What did you study and why? Why did you decide to study what you were studying?
well, the story is actually there's always a story behind
Of
everything. I
course.
think. I come from a I come from a very small town in Mexico. It's actually like a village, but it's growing now. But like it's still very small in terms of development and stuff. And there's no theater. There used to be a bit. Now there's a lot more, but it's less. Um, okay, let me rephrase that. The cultural life is not as big as in the capital city or other places because it's a very small town, and it's better now than the way it used to be when I was a kid living there.
Okay.
So I this is important because this is the way I speak to about that. It's I started like English and theater the same year. I didn't know that those were going to be the key for life. Okay? I started like my English classes. I was 14 years old, and I did theater the first time when I was 14 years old, like a few months before my English classes. At the same time, so time went by. I was doing like this, like amateur theater activities, and at some point I had to choose a career, and all I wanted is to get out of that little town, to do more things, to get to know other stuff, because 80% of the rest of the school was going like to another city
Outside.
to study.
Yeah.
And it's important also, yeah, and it's also important to understand that Coatzacoalcos, the little town I come from, it's mainly, or used to be like the oil is like one of the main industries there. And any engineer career was like the main, or port related, was the main source of working. And I was like,
Engineer.
I don't know if I want to do that.
Exactly.
And the way I chose, what I chose was, what can I study that does not exist in here, that I am good at, and that I can like it, so I can have an excuse to leave. I didn't
Okay.
know. So doing the line, in the waiting line to do the registration for the exam for your career, I didn't know, So I was looking for the list, and I was like, okay, let's go to humanities department. And I was like, and then I found a career that was like English language as a career, like 5 years of a BA, right? And I was like, why not? I know English. I speak English. It's been 4 years I've been studying. It's fine. Let's do this,
Yeah.
Where is it? In Jalapa, the capital city of the province. Okay, let's do this. That's how I chose my career, and I was just like, oh yeah, here, like that. And I passed the exam. I was selected to go to the city, and I was happy. And I never had the courage to say I am going to study theater. I wanted to say that. I said that to a couple of people, but I was like, I cannot say I am going to do theater because my parents would not let me. It's not gonna happen.
So,
And that's how everything started. Like, I needed an excuse, and I found it in the languages, and I left, and I started I have a double major, so my first career was in the humanities department.
yeah. So you started with the foreign languages, right? And actually,
Yeah,
inside
as a
you
major.
was this desire of doing theater and being away from your small village or where you were born. You said, "Okay, I'm away. Let's try this." And what did you do? What inspired you to do this pathway to go through theater? What
Uh,
was the point
it
when you
changed.
decided to do it?
It's just like I was taking classes in a community theater group, like an amateur group over there in Coatzacoalcos for 4 years. So I was already part of a group that did little tours around the city or stuff. So I knew what was like to gather your stuff, to put in a black curtain, and you do the ticket sale. You are the one who put everything. You are the one who interpret the text, and you do everything. So I like that. Somehow I felt listened because I love to people listen to me, and I just took that as a game. And I don't know why, to me, between all my adolescence, was more important to do theater than being in my friend's place watching movies. I don't know why and how. That broke my heart when I saw that my friends stopped asking me to go out or to watch movies at their place, because they were like, "Oh, because you do your theater, we know you're never available," because it was for months or years. Saturday and Sunday from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. every weekend, pretty much every weekend. So that was exactly where you go to the cinema, you go to the movies, or you go to the park. At the time, we used to go skating, right? So
You spend time with your friends.
yeah, and she does theater, so she does her thing. So she will say no. And that's true.
Yeah.
I used to say no sometimes. So
Yeah.
I cannot remember exactly when it became meaningful to me, or in which way. At some point, it was just meaningful to me. There was this group in the humanities department, also composed by or conformed by people from teaching area, literature area, drama, how to say that, like the literature area, what was the other one? The translation area, the anthropology, social studies. They were gathering together 3 times per week to do theater. And the guy who had this group, who was running this group, he's been working for 10 years, and they presented plays and they rehearsed. This guy became my partner. And as soon as I got to this school, I got 2 months after I got into the group, and we had also dancing classes that he paid a teacher that could come to teach us dancing classes, and we used to go and see theater all together in the Faculty of the Arts. So we used to do this gathering, everything around theater. So that was very fast. It was magnetic. It's what you're looking for is looking for you.
Exactly. Yes. So you started this in your country, in that city where you started to do what you liked most, right? And after that, what happened? What made you leave your country when you did that, and why? What made you take that decision?
I am going to say what I say I've been saying this for the last 5 or 6 years or so. I think the answer to that question changes every time people ask me that question, because I see things now with perspective. And I get older too. Of course, there are reasons that stand out. At the time, they were reasons that stood out, like, oh, money, insecurity, I'm bored, I have the heart broken, or whatever. But there's never one thing. It's never only one thing. I think it's like a knot made out of a lot of reasons. At the time, I was in love, and I was attracted to a person who lived in Quebec, here in Montreal. But it's important because this person did theater too. So this relationship to me was representing my reason to move, because first I wanted to leave the city, totally independent from this relationship. I wanted to leave the city. I used to live in Mexico City. I came back to the contract I had in the university company of theater for 2 years. where I found this person that sort of like was this crazy crush, whatever. And he was this relationship was the reason for me to say, he like, there was theater and love together. What else you can ask for? You know what I mean? Like your art and overseas and languages, and like, it was, this relationship represented everything I wanted to at the moment. And I was like, you know what? I know the problems I have here, and I'm tired of
Yeah.
them. I want another problems. I was like, it's difficult to pay my rent sometimes, even though I was in a very good company with my paycheck every 2 weeks, and I wasn't not well paid, and I wasn't properly well paid, and I had to complete my job as a, modeling or doing like a sponsorship or like this image girl with the promo girl or stuff, to complete my money, my income. And I was like,
You are talking
I go
you are
back to
talking
Mexico
about
City.
the period where you were still in Mexico, right?
Yes,
Saying,
Mexico. So I was like, I either go back to Mexico City where I used to live before the contract with the company I used to work for, or I go to France. I said France because I wanted to practice my French and stuff. I'd never in Europe, so I've never been to Europe. And I was like, why not? Or I go to Quebec, to Montreal, to get to know this person better and to get to know the city he lives in and blah, blah, and to know more theater and try to. But I was like, I'm not going to study a master's degree. I'm not going to do anything big study thing. No, no, because I've been studying for 8 years nonstop with the two majors. I was like, you know what? This is just not, no. And I was like, I want other problems. Maybe it's gonna be hard for me to pay my rent if I go abroad, but I want to know how that's like in another context, and
okay.
that's why. That was meaning like a curiosity. Yes, it was love, but also I was tired, and very important, violence in Mexico. Within the 2 years that I went to Mexico City and came back to my little town, not the little town, but the village, the city, the violence got worse. And there was this moment where the city was like militarized, sort of. And it was
Okay.
rough. It was rough because it had been like around 12 years or something that I was living there. And I saw the change. And I was like, this is very weird. I feel better and more and safer in Mexico City than in Jalapa. It's hard. It was
Okay.
hard, and at some point I was like, I, I know I can deal with this. I've always dealt with violence. I, I don't know. I
So
don't know if I want this.
that was this is something that it's bothering you even now, right? This is what's the thing that is bothering even now in your origin country? It's this violence that you are talking about, or it's something else, or is there something that it's making you angry about the thing that is happening in Mexico? What is it?
Yeah,
You have to tell me.
I would say, woof, the day to day violence, the day to day, the little mockery in little things that I used to normalize, the little mockery that people are like, oh, don't take it too personal. Well, I do. Because you don't have to do that.
Okay.
I do that, and I used to do it even more, but I know that somehow the perspective it's been done, and I try to internalize that it's not correct. That's one thing. The second thing is that the level of surviving for so many people, and the level of poverty and the lack of opportunity in so many ways, it it's just it's so evident, it's too much, and it really breaks my heart.
Yeah, I understand. I understand because it's your country. You were born in that country, and normally you have to live where you are born, right? And you can live a normal life. But those are the things that made us to just live. Because I was talking with another friend yesterday, and we were talking about the same thing. We didn't live because we had a bad life. We had a good life, but we just decided to live from different reasons. So that's the thing, you know. There are
Yeah.
things that happened in life and push you to just to live and to try to change your life. That's the thing. And
Yep.
leaving your country behind, tell me, how was your adaptation process here? Did you have to work anything else but artistic work? How was it? And if you did something else, what brought you new to your life? Did you have moments when you felt lost and lost confidence in yourself, felt discouraged? Tell me a little bit about this.
The answer is yes. Yes, I have worked in other stuff rather than strictly artistic field or acting or stuff. Uh, Although I believe that that's the only way to do art because it's a product of life and experience. So when I came here, I was legally allowed to do anything but work. you know? So yeah. So I did housekeeping. I was the femme de ménage. So yes, I did that. I was a cleaning lady in a very nice neighborhood, and
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it. And I was
Good.
suffering from pride the first weeks. I was like, oh my God, I speak three languages and I am cleaning a toilet that is not even mine. But I fortunately was surrounded by nice people, immigrants as well, that were like, Leslie, why would you be, uh, how do you say, like, why would you be embarrassed because you're working and making money? And I might remember my hands, like, because I did a lot of hours per day, like between 12 and 10 hours per day. And my hands have like the little blasters, like, because of too much manual work and stuff. And I felt bad at the beginning, like, oh, this and that. But then I got cash money to do what I wanted to do, which was go and see theater. So I did that, and I also babysat a lot. I sometimes do that from time to time, but like a lot a lot fewer times than before. And I animal sit, I house sit, and I work also in the restaurant, in the general service, the hosting service. I work for different companies or restaurants, or even I once even worked in a bar, but I think I did it too late. I was too old for that, so I couldn't stay longer. I think I was there only for not even 3 months, and I was like, okay, this is it. So yeah, I've been going around, yeah, like a lot of stuff, yeah.
So you need a certain age to live to work in a bar?
Well, in my very personal opinion, when I was there when I was 35, 34, and I was too tired. Like after like 12 p.m. I'm like, okay, man, this is it. I was wanted my bed. I want my bed, my boyfriend, or my cat. But I don't have a cat, but if I had a
I
cat,
need my
I
sleep.
just, whatever, give me my tea and that's it. And I was a very bad seller, I think. I was not pushing people to drink. I was given like a more like a restaurant service more than the alcohol service. Um, I was very shy
Girl,
to push people to
you,
drink.
I'm telling you, it wasn't for you. That's the thing.
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
I guess
when
so,
you cannot
but
do it, when you cannot do something, is like I cannot do it because it's not for me. That's it, and you just continue your life.
yeah, but
Tell
I know,
me,
but I think maybe younger. If I was younger, it would have been different, I think.
maybe, but who knows? You are not younger anymore. So tell me, who are you in the society in which you live now? Who do you feel you are here? What's your place
Oh,
in this
big
society, your
questions,
new
Aurelia.
society where you decided to live? Yes.
Big questions, Badulescu. Um, I am a, I'm, I'm a 38-year-old woman who likes theater and who is in Quebecer from third generation. Nothing more than that. And who aspires to continue living her life in in the better way, in the best way possible. That's I think how I am.
Good answer. Tell me when you came here, did you speak French, English? I know you speak English. Did you speak French? Did you have a language barrier or something? How was it?
Yeah. Well, no. Yes and no. My language barrier, like I think everybody has it, unless you are a full bilingual person. But like I think everybody, even the person who spoke the language before coming or going to the country where the language is spoken, I always think that if I go to school, French, Italian, English school or whatever, you always get to practice uh, the classroom level of English or the classroom level of French, right? You really have to get
Yeah.
immersed in the place, right? So that's what happened to me. I got a lot of English well like learned, and I was very used to it. Um, but I've never like lived abroad. Well, yeah, when I was I did an exchange program in my 20s in Virginia Tech for theater, so I got to live a year, an academic year in the States, which of course improved my English, but I still have a strong accent, and that's the way it's going to be because I lived more in a bilingual or French way than only English and French. Because of my studies in English, you were required to study another language in order to graduate or to have your credits for. So I picked English, sorry, French. I chose French as a second language because my first language in the school was English. Like Spanish, only like in the first year you have things in Spanish, but I think second and third year everything is in English. And French because you choose, depending on whatever you're choosing. And so I had the basic stuff, more than the basics, I would say in English and French, like was more than the basics.
Yeah.
But when I came here, I was like, I everybody understands me. Oh my God, I can ask for a coffee and things are good. Like I felt like super good. I was like, of course, I know everybody understands. After 3 months, maybe less, it was horrible. I could not ask for a coffee. I was like, wait, 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 wait. Like I know how to ask for a coffee. I know what's sugar or milk or whatever in French. But people were
What
like,
happened?
they want. Well, I think it's the immersion, the language immersion, where your brain it's like totally absorbing the new language level. You are getting immersed, and this is exactly how it happens. Like this little like liminal space transitional where you are like not so basic language speaker anymore, and you're not fully bilingual or trilingual, whatever. So this in between place, it's like where your brain gets to rewire and pretty much fucked up. Sorry, but like it's just
Yeah.
like no. And so I got a very nice experience that I know many immigrants or many people from other countries they do not have, because I had at least English in my pocket with an accent. Who cares,
Yeah.
and my French was already there. So yeah, my previous knowledge of that was just improving with time, and now I have a Quebecois accent quite strong, mixed with my accent as Mexican. So you know, um, yeah.
As an artist, what role do you play in this society? As an artist, you told me before, who are you like a person? But as an artist, what's your role here?
My role here,
Like an artist.
it's to remind myself and the society that I am part of the society. I think
Like an
that's as an
artist.
artist. Yeah,
Yes.
it's exactly what I
Good. So this is
said
your challenge.
that I was before. It's like I think my role is to remind people that that's what I want to be, that I deserve to be here. And I think the role implicit, I think, it's to not erase, because that would be pretentious, but maybe to reduce the barriers, the social barriers and prejudice among us in a such melting pot society as Montreal. There's poverty here. There's lack of opportunity here for many people too. There's racism. There's social problems here as well as, as much as everywhere else, in a different way. I think it's also try to reconnect to people as an artist, try to reconnect to people as a human before that reconnect to people as an immigrant. Yes, I am an immigrant.
We all are.
Exactly, but
Hmm.
that does not interest me anymore as much as it used to at the beginning. Now, my main concern, even after, and actually more after COVID, is to try to reconnect.
So you are trying to find the reconnection, right? The connection is very important. So, living in another country, what do you think you have lost? And what do you think you have won?
I think I don't know if lost is the word. I think that's a bit pretentious too, but if I have to mention something, would be I think I have lost fear, and I
That's
have
a good thing.
gained. That depends for what. I think I've gained.
Ah, that's true.
Um, I have gained. Oof, you're gonna make me cry. I have gained.
Cry. We have the right to be emotional.
I have gained self-love.
Self love. This is what so many people are searching for, and it's so hard to find it. And you just tell us that you found self love. As you said, if you have this, you can continue easily.
I don't think if easily, but you just realize that you are able to continue, that you are capable.
This is something important because you are not discouraged and you are more confident. And this is what I asked you before. Do you feel that you are discouraged or something? And now, if you are telling us that you have this self confidence, this is something that it pushes you to continue your path, to do whatever you want to do. Because why? You can do it. You feel that you have the courage to continue, right?
I think being an immigrant reminds you every second of your life that there's no choice that going forward. And that you realize how one thing that I used to be very sad about it and get depressed by it was feeling like the deep experience of, I'm gonna cry, the deep experiencing of the deep experience of solitude. That was dark and deep. But like surprisingly and beautifully at the same time, I found that's where the strength comes from, this dark solo place, that's your strength. And then you are like, if I feel like that, so Madame Taxi Driver feels the same, or Mr. Bagel Baker feels the same, or Mr. Madame who gives me my milkshake in the morning in the whatever juicy, beautiful place in the Milan, she feels the same. So
Yeah.
I guess I used to have a tendency to get away from vulnerability. And when I was here, I had no other option that facing that and go through it. So now I know that I get discouraged. I know that I want to just to disappear and I want to kill everybody and I hate this and I want to go back to my country, and then I go back to my country and I hate it twice as before, and it's fine. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. And if it doesn't
Good.
go okay,
That's good.
if it does not go okay, it's gonna be okay anyways. That is not okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So if it's not okay now, it will be okay anyway. So you just continue. That's the immigrant life. It's difficult, but we do it because, as you said, we go forward. Let's go
I
back a little bit in the artistic field. Do you think that the new proposal of the contemporary scene open up a place to immigrant artists?
Yes, but there's still a lot of work to do. Like a lot
Uh,
of work
from
to do.
whom? Who should work on this?
Everybody.
We, the immigrant,
Both.
everybody from both sides, right?
I think it's from both sides, and because I don't think a theater, an institutional theater, is giving me a chance. I think it's their obligation to give us a chance as a public institutions, as a public cultural institutions, mainly financed by everybody's taxes. I don't think they are
Yes.
giving anybody or making a favor, doing a favor to anybody. And I think that expecting that I was given an opportunity exempts me from making a mistake, because oh my god, they gave me a chance. So why should I be perfect? Because oh, now that I have the microphone and the como on appelle en français, la vitrine, I have the spot. I can't miss it. Why? Because oh, I'm an immigrant and I am like first generation, or I am Latina and I have to represent super well. So where's the right to not to do things right? I think that it's both sides, and people listen to Netflix. People listen to every other accent in any other language. So yes, people, I think, there might be
Exactly.
ready to understand and not justify only in a racial way the way you look and the way you speak in a story. I think theater in general makes a stronger and better effort. There's still a lot to do, but they are opening a bit more than camera and etc. So, but it's better. It's doing better, yes. And why I think it's both sides to recognize or to work on, because I don't think it's fair to be only complaining without recognizing the efforts that are being made, and that we will never reach the wow, yeah, everybody's good and calm and equal. No, there's a continuous process. But it would be very unfair to say, oh, things are the same. These people do not let me. No, I don't think it's true, because I have a lot of beautiful projects and I work, and people like what I do. Some people don't like some, and I don't think it's fair either to say that nothing has changed, because I'm pretty sure it is not true.
And you believe that it will change
It
more
is
probably in the
changing.
future, more and more.
It is
Yeah,
changing, and I
yeah.
think it will.
Opportunities are everywhere actually. You just have to be there and take the opportunity when you have it, right?
I don't think opportunities are there everywhere. No, I don't think they're everywhere. I think of a certain extent that we can create our own opportunities to a certain extent. I can, I'm not God. And there are other opportunities
Of
that
course.
come from institutions, or the grants and stuff. Yes. So, but I think it's an effort that has to be done together and as a whole. I just think that there's always a way, and again, life is more than only acting in theater, and life is experience, and you just have to be not that you just have to be. We just go through life trying to listen better, where the chances are going, where another door has been opened. Oh, a new door has been created. Oh, it's important also to consider, Quebec's social also history and own problems. A province, a French province, within huge Canada. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's that's part of the integration. No, it's not against or with, or I think it's more a constant adaptation, and it's not easy, and it will never be.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So generally, I'm migrant, right? If you don't work on it, you
Yes, I'm migrant. I love that.
tell me if you have some experience in television, cinema, and when did that start, and what did you do? And after that, you can talk about your present projects.
Um, I'm gonna try to be very concise, like short. I have the impression I talk a lot because I love talking. And um,
That's why I
TV,
invited you.
yeah,
We need to talk.
yeah. Well, TV in general, screen work, uh, it does not come as often as theater work. For many reasons in general, because I also came as an interpreter in theater. I was not doing a lot of cinema in Mexico. I did some stuff, but like it was not my main source of income or my field full of doing that. And I tried to contact more with theater before than the screen work. I didn't get an agent until very recently, and that's also another factor, not only for immigrants, but in general, like most of the breakdowns are not public, so you've got to have either group of artists that, this actors group that are like with no agent, but like all of them are like their own agent, or an agent that can give you access to those breakdowns. So it's not easy.
I have a question because I don't think I asked you. You are here since when? Since you are an immigrant, actually.
I came here in 2012. I got my permanent residence in 2016, and I became more fully professional actress in 2018. And then COVID hit.
Okay, so it's a long path.
It's a long path, but I
Yes.
would say it's quite recent.
You had a lot of stuff to do before, and now we are in 2022. So
We can cut or not
yes.
cut, but
Did you live in another country before?
COVID was also a big, but yeah, so
So
yeah.
this was my next question. So how was your life during COVID? So you said you worked a lot, right? So which is a good thing. You work like an artist because everybody knows that artistic life was kind of put aside for everybody. So you say you had projects, right?
Yeah, well, just to continue with the previous question, one of my projects I got for TV, I got like
Yes.
some participations, like uh, like a second role or a first role in this or that. It's not a lot of stuff that I've done, but in 2021, last year, I took that as my birthday gift. I worked with Philippe Falardeau in a very small intervention scene in the new series made by Florence Lompré and Suzanne Bochard. Philippe Falardeau, usually he makes movies, not series. So that was a very interesting project. I was cast to in a very last minute because I don't know. I think that role was for me, and I got the chance to work in a beautiful project and also with beautiful people I also respect a lot. And I don't know what will be the continuity of that, but I was happy to see that my first speaking role in a series was in Spanish, so I could show myself with the colors I could offer, and to get to work with Philippe Falardeau was a pleasure, but also just to make it to feel possible to show myself as an actress without the language barrier. I think that was a gift. That's why I say it was a gift. That's a gift.
Yeah.
And but also to appreciate that human connection goes beyond words. And art also goes with accent or no accent. It goes through, it finds a way to get through and touch people. So I'm proud of my accent, my language barrier, my developing my improvement. I don't know, linguistic wise. But when I get the chance to reconnect to acting in my own language, in Spanish, it's a priceless opportunity. So yeah.
So do you think that the fact that you don't speak in Spanish in a project, whatever it is, do you think that that's a barrier language? You consider this like a barrier language if you speak in English or French, even if you speak those languages okay? What's a barrier language for you?
Yeah,
Because you said you are not afraid of the barrier language because you are speaking in your language. So what do you mean by that?
hello, hello. Well, a language barrier for me is that it's crazy because now time has like really gone by that now I am a mix of the three languages now. It's it's something that really conforms me, like really integrates me. But I don't know if it's like a barrier, but in a certain way it is, because I have either, even in Spanish, I have to really work on my articulation when I speak. But if I make a mistake, I don't doubt as much about grammar, autocorrection than in French or English. Oh, did I do the good uh, concordance in this and that? Oh, was he or she? Oh, did I pronounce the S at the end? It's crazy. I usually don't do that, and I don't care to make mistakes when I am speaking, and even in theater, I'm not afraid anymore of making mistakes. But there's this like little voice in the back of my head, and this little light that is always on uh, in a survey, like just watching how am I speaking, you know. I wouldn't say it's a language barrier, but in a way it is. It is. I don't think people are like um, annoyed or whatever by my accent, but they need to understand what I say. So in that, for that to happen, so I have to work on my pronunciation, but not to reduce my accent, but more for make it clearer, or to in the
Improvement.
delivery, more than just like get rid of your accent.
For improvement,
So there's a
yes.
bit,
The improvement
there's a
what you have, yeah.
little layer, a thin layer on uh, that adds up on everything I do. It's just like a little plus that I have to be aware of. That's it.
Good. I understand your definition of barrier language now. Let's talk about your present projects now, and after that, I want to tell me if you have a memorable story during a show, an accident, a funny moment, or something. And also, I would like to hear some of your past projects. What did you do? How did you feel doing those projects? And where was that? The theater that you worked with, and all this. For what do you feel proud? And tell me your feelings, your emotion about all your projects that you had. And don't forget about the funny moment
Yeah,
or the
that.
accident, okay?
Okay, I am very happy to say that I am happy of having worked with amazing people. Honestly, I think I've been so lucky to work in projects that I not only like, that I in general, with some exceptions, that I really like. Either because of the process, because of the result, usually because the process is awesome, because of the people I work with, or everything together, or all of the above, and all that. So I I really, I think I've been very lucky, and I'm also happy that I found a lot of generosity in working in theater here, and I get to know people. I'm a people person. I consider myself as a people person. I have this side super. I know people might not believe it, but I have this um, isolated side of myself that I like to take time apart. That I don't want to see anybody. That I don't talk to anybody. That I'm very. There's this introspective side of me that I cultivate quite often. But as a people person, my people person side, I love to get to know people in all the projects I have been hired, that also have become my friends, like you, or people that if might not call them friends.
Yes.
They are people that I know they are there and that I can be there for them as well. So I like that. I like that a lot. And well, I have the chance to work with different companies with different paths and stuff. And mainly, I would say in the last 4 years or so, maybe more, I've been hired as what they call
Maybe more because of the COVID, right?
yeah, well, yes, of course, but not like in the more recent projects, more as what they have called a mover or a physical actor, which is mainly physical theater. Physical theater, which to me it's weird because to me every kind of theater is physical, but more strictly more to in pieces uh, where the word is less than the body, let's say, sort of. So I worked with Marilyn Perrault and Annie Ranger in Theater Inc. Theater, aux Écuries, and I could say that working with them changed my life, sort of, in a very positive way because I got big exposition when I was working with them, but also because, again, Marilyn and me, we found a nice friendship there. I like her. I think she likes me back, and we like each other as colleagues. We work well together, and I learned a lot working with her. And her company does physical theater. That's like the mission. And she works also with this. They address young audiences, but mainly teenager audiences, which to me was very nice. Not new, but like in the way they were doing it or they do. I find that super important. And because of a grant that we got with the Conseil des Arts de Montréal, the Montreal Council for the Arts, I worked with them for almost a year and a half. And that was great. That was great because I got to know a little more deeply the artistic life with a company that it's been going on for a while, but like they work super hard. And in terms of ways of doing theater and all the language of physical embodiment of doing theater, I really learned a lot from them. And that was because Marilyn and me, we had in common like to have trained with Dynamo Theater, which is a company also for young audiences that do physical theater. She has a higher level of expression in the body than me, but different also, more acrobatic. I'm a lot less acrobatic than her. But this common interest, I found that in that company for physical theater, I found that there, and it just helped me to develop more tools as an interpreter. To be in the future, I was hired for other companies because I developed this side working with Theatre Inc. I worked with Singulier Pluriel with Julie Vincent, and I like that in terms of everything. Everything goes fast, and it's a lot of things, and a lot of passion, and a lot of physicality too. Some Spanish, and I get to work with one of my best friends and colleagues, which is Jimena Ferrer, and we have a super chemistry also in outside the scene and on the scene. We love that working on stage together. I worked with Surreal Theater with John Lachlan Stewart. Again, I developed a beautiful friendship with him. I respect him a lot as an artist. I really like what he does, and he knows that. And every time I have the chance to say it, I say it. And he's a bilingual actor as well, so that's also an interest that we have in common. So there's a lot of resonances in what he says, what he does in his work that I really like. and I worked in the last show he made, and I met beautiful people. And I could say that this last show has been one of the most challenging things I've ever did in my life. And I say this, it was a very touchy show.
Where do we find information about your last show?
I think in my Facebook.
If there's a media or something?
Well, I think you can just like look for surreal theater, and you would, or the Instagram, and you can
Okay.
find the what they have done. It's just that this last show was an adaptation of a novel super famous, and we got, I think, diversity, the word diversity, took another whole
Yeah.
dimension and meaningful, and more meaningful in this play, you know. We were working with people with a physical handicap, and I just realized how far and how disconnected we are, people with a certain level of what they call handicap, which also as a word, it's like weird word for handicap, you know. And the way of seeing things that we don't see, that we don't notice, because it's like parallel words, you know, like no, there's no, pretty much no place in Canada or in Montreal, I don't know, that offers or that takes into consideration people with any level of handicap. Because to be handicap friendly, it's not to have your little thing for the wheelchair. It goes way beyond that. And we do not, it's not considered in the making of a building, you know. It's just society is not well integrated. There's something going on. There's like the spheres of different, again, I hate the word diversity, but the different diversities, the bubbles don't touch. So the big challenge of this show was how to get to understand each other, to create, in the common language of creation, and that we were there for a reason. But to be there for a reason, we needed to get to know the other person. What do you need? How do you open the door? Oh, you cannot open the door. I have to open the door for you. Oh, listen to this. I have this snack to share. How can I share that with you? Because you need what to do this, or I have to do, I don't know. It's just like a lot of things to consider, and to get over the embarrassment of not to know what to do.
That's the thing. I wanted to ask you. You want to open the door, but in your mind, there are so many questions. How should I ask? How should I do this? It's the thing that you don't know things about the other person, and it's kind of it puts you in a position where you think about a lot of things in the same time, and you, as you said, it's an embarrassment about not knowing. You know. What should I do now? Because I don't know. How should I react?
I think there's also,
And actually, we are the same. We are people, and we can just do things normally. We should consider the others normal people because we are just persons, and everybody lives their lives in their way. So we just interact from time to time, and that's it. Yeah.
well, yes, to a certain extent, but it's also the understanding of trying to really consider the other person and their own needs or their own way of doing. That might be tricky because, yes, we are all people and humans, but yes, there's a different challenge for a person with a level of handicap that for a person that does not have a handicap. So how do we approach? With respect, and there's a lot of ignorance. I am the top of the list of the ignorance in that matter, but I could say that we just have to be aware of it. And the fact of being more open and aware of it is that makes us better, or not better, but at least more aware. And Yusuf, it's an
Yeah.
excellent actor as well. Yusuf, a great interpreter. He also has a podcast. I do not remember, which is bad now, the way the podcast he has. And it's super interesting to listen to him. I learned a lot talking to him. And, it's that. I think everybody has their own challenge as a person in a society. And we just have to,
For
maybe it
sure.
would be, we don't have to, but I think it would be good if we just try to approach the other. Why not? So, yeah.
Tell me something funny, a moment, an accident, I don't know, something that happened in your life during a show, or, when you were doing your job like an actress. How did you manage that? What did you do?
I had this super great chance to work with Charles Bender and Xavier Huard in the production of Menentacuan or Menentejuan. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I could say that it's written Menentacuan Productions. It's a First Nations company, and the mission is beautiful, and they just work for reconciliation, and they discuss, and they do a lot of mediation, and a lot of a lot of activities related to talk about what's the position in Canada, or what's the moment that we live in as a society related to First Nations in Canada. And all their stories they work on are like go around this main big issue, right? And it was good because I reconnect with Charles Bender, that I had worked like years before, and because I was so fan of this company. So, to me it was like, I'm gonna work with a company I like so much, and it was so I don't know, I was like a big fan. I have a story for that, but in another moment I will tell you the story how I met that company. But well, I was sharing the show with the stage with Marie-José Bastien, Charles Bender, Charles Bockel, Violette Chauveau, Etienne Thibault, yeah, and Leslie Velázquez, right? And in a moment, it was a sitcom
Right.
rhythm of saying the text, so for everybody was hard to deliver. It's not only Leslie that has the the layer up of language. Like for everybody was a hard way to deliver. So it had a level of complexity, right? And one day, the first actress, awesome person, super generous, so Violette Chauveau, she, she had a blank. She had this little moment of, I don't remember my text or whatever. That was quite long. And we had we had
Okay.
to try to improvise or wait. Well, we
Continue.
had to wait for her because she could not. She was going into a loop of. She just couldn't remember. Like it was clearly like a big blank, and the audience realized. At some point, audience was like laughing and clapping because the silence was like longer and
Wow.
longer. And the thing is, like the next line after her was me, so I could not talk over her.
Wow.
I had to wait for her to react or not. So it was a beautiful listening. And she's a master of the stage. She's great, super generous in the stage and out of the stage. She's just amazing. She's a beautiful soul. And I could see a big, like super actress going through this live in front of everybody and like sailing as a professional and going to the end of the mistake with dignity. And she got out of the hole like as a big lady professional actress that she is. And people were like laughing and clapping because they were like, you're making a mistake, and my partners on the stage, we never gave up. We never gave up. And then had to listen all the time. And then when she finally made the move and tried to do what she had to say, that was not at all what she was supposed to say. I had to change my line on the spot because my line wouldn't make any sense after what happened. That was great, but I remember that was
Of course. Of course.
I remember like watching her. I remember watching her. Like, yeah. At some point, I do like, I think I do like this, like a phase of, and the audience saw it, and they clapped even faster and longer, and they were laughing because they saw me like trembling, like, oh, the actress is trembling, and I love that. It was great. It was just an awesome moment that I don't know. Violette was amazing, and she's always been amazing, and we love that. We just adored that. It was life was great. It was awesome.
This is a nice accident, let's say. But I think this is the most common accident on the stage. Everybody has blanks, and it's like that moment when you are terrified. Then when the show is finished, you just laugh in the back, and it's like, wow, wow, what happened? But I think it's the most beautiful moment actually, because what you are feeling in that moment when you have the blank is like everything is destroying around you, everything is demolished, it's only you see nothing, and it's like, what do I do, where am I, what should I say to continue, is like, wow. And if you don't have the team around you that can help you,
It's
yes, then
it's so beautiful the
it's
way you
bad.
put it. It's exactly it. Like everything, it's like trembling. Like how do you say? Like demolishing it.
Yeah,
It is like an apocalyptic thing that you're like,
yeah,
but that's what I like
exactly.
about theater, that it's live, it's alive every time.
The
Yeah.
unique moments.
And of course, there's emergencies, there's problems. Like, you're not gonna go the show over anybody's health or well-being, of course not. But I don't know. But it's just that
Of course.
I got my lesson, but also to watch her going through that. I don't know what would have done. Of course, I have my own experience, but I think I saw a first actress going through that and how well she sailed through it. I was like, holy who? You're like, what? And yeah,
Yes, because in that moment of panic, yeah, you can do everything. You are panicked and you have
And you,
to get out of there,
yeah,
and you
and the
do
thing is
it.
like you
You
cannot
do it
hide
because
it. You
you
cannot
have to,
hide
you
it.
know. You
And
cannot
people
quit.
love that. Like audience love that you cannot hide. They love it. Like I got you.
I have something new that I'm seeing today in the show. That's in improvisation. That wasn't in the text. I like that. Yes, I know. So everybody's happy finally. The actors on the stage, the public, and everybody's happy for a little accident that happened. That's the thing. That's the theater mirage, I
Yes.
can say. Yeah. Well, that's a nice story that you told us. Um, do we have another one, or should I pass to the next question?
No, you can. I think you can pass to the next question.
Okay, I will do another podcast with you, or maybe with all the people, only with the accident that happened on the scene or during the work
Please
that
do.
they done.
Please do.
I want to ask you if you wish to have a talent, what could it be? Something else, a talent that you can explore, other that you already have. A new talent in your life. Welcome the new talent, like it is what Leslie Velasquez. What do you want to do extra?
I would say I could think of two things
Yes.
now. One is I really like massage and physical therapy, like physiotherapy, osteopathy, working with people's body and do stretchings and to get away of the discomfort or tensions in the body. I think I'm good at it, and yes,
Of
like a
other
group of
people.
people. You don't have to be a actually it's better if you're not a professional, like people from from the office in Hydro Quebec or like any other famous institution. People who are not used to move their body because of lack of interest, or they don't know, or they are super busy, or
Movement.
and I would love to gather people and get to connect with the body. I love to make people connect with their bodies. It's something that I like a lot. I really, really like. And I have, it's weird because I don't have a certification for anything, but I think I do know enough to make a whole of that knowledge to offer to people, and give good and make good. So to me, connect with the body, it's something essential, full,
Good.
beautiful. And I would combine that with meditation. I actually very good at relaxing, make people relax or meditate or make them feel better. I really like, and to touch, like by touching as well, like giving massage or just take people from, so it is weird because I could give you a massage and finish with a beautiful mask for your tired face, or I can give you a feet massage with a nice exfoliation of your feet, or I can get, I love those things. I love to rub your body and scrub with a beautiful reset, a beautiful recipe of exfoliant, homemade exfoliant. I love those things.
I want to ask you something. You will love those things. You know, there are people that they are doing this like a job, right? It's a professional massage therapist, and all that you are saying, and they are doing this all day,
Yeah, yeah,
and like all the others, they are
exactly. The thing is,
tired. So how do you
the
explore your talent all day or from time to time, once, twice per month, for example?
No,
Because
but
it's not an easy
to
job,
me, it
huh?
goes beyond that. To me, it's not. Yeah, it's the way I see it. It's not only that I am going to touch and massage people. To me, it's more than. provide a safe space where people can get to connect to their bodies and to be calm and take perspective of whatever life is now, and to let things to emerge, whatever it is: fear, love, uh, sadness, rage, just, whatever, and just to provide that space, and why the body? Because the body is our material. We have our soul, whatever, I believe in that, but also we got the body as a physical limitation. We couldn't be in this world without this body. That's why we have this. So the thing is, like, I'm not certificate, but to me it's more than that connect to ourselves. And when I say meditation, it's not only that we're closing our eyes and like meditate. Yes, it's part of it, but to me it's more
Yes.
than how
Yeah.
people will find their own way to connect. I'm not going to show you that. I cannot teach you that. I can offer you choices, or I can see, but I cannot teach you how to meditate, or like, I cannot teach that. And I think people who says, teach me to meditate, they are wrong. I can say that. So, and
Yes. Yes.
I don't think that exists. And
I
then
agree.
the other thing is, I love talk about the people. When I see a show that I like, I could talk about hours to other people and saying why this show is beautiful. And I love that. I would be a nice person selling this show, but I don't know if selling, but like convincing people to come and see this show, because you have to see it. And because, and I guess because of my knowledge as an interpreter, that I could do that with love. And I have a list of solo shows that I love, of pieces of theater that I love, or circus that I adored. And I would love to make people come and see these shows. That's one thing. And the other third, not last but not least, is it's sort of what you are doing, but in a more artistic process way, like to interview creators or the artists about their process in creation. I would love that. I would love to interview people, and and to nourish the questions. And I would love to interview people about the process, and to see how life or the way of living is reflected in the way of doing art. That's something I would love to do. And I'm very pretentious, because I'm very pretentious, because I wouldn't limit myself to the art I know more, or the field that I am more used to, which is theater. I think I would go with literature, with music, with circus, with I'm too pretentious.
No, you are not. So this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to talk with the artists in all the fields, artistic fields, not only from theater. I see that you are talking about connection a lot. So I want to ask you something. If you could meet a personality of humanity, who would it be? A big personality of humanity. Who would it be?
I can think of one. It's a photographer from the States, Vivian Mahler, I think. Or Vivian Meyer.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not Mahler,
Vivian
it's Meyer. I don't know about photograph, but what happened that
Yes.
I got a crush in her work. Because when I saw her photos, I felt that was my eye. When I am in the street, I look,
Just
I
saying it.
watch at things she took in the
Okay.
photos. So I was like super surprised. I was like, when I go in the street and I walk out, because I love watching people, I'm a voyeurist, I love it. She watches, it's like she was my
Yes.
eye. I was like, yeah. So that would be a person I would love to meet, but maybe not to meet. I would have loved to spy on her when she was taking the pictures. Because I love watching people, so I would have loved to see. I would love to see how she walked, how she
So,
took the camera, how she followed people. I would have loved to see all those things because she was super introverted, and she loved kids. She was a nanny. So I would say
maybe,
her,
yeah, yeah,
Vivian
yeah.
Mayer.
Do you have an idol in your life or a model, Leslie?
I can think of two people now. My mom and my older sister. Yeah.
So it's related to the family. That's a strong connection.
I don't
I
mention
like
the rest
that.
of my family not because I don't love them. And it's not because I don't love them or I
Bravo.
love them less, but it's
No, we're not talking about love. We are talking about your the person in your life that it's your model, it's your idol, you know? So you choose the two person in your life and that they are family too. So this is so nice. I really love this. Who are you in the future? What would you think it's worth telling future generation about the life you live now and the lesson you learn from it? And I'm talking about intellectual and
I
moral
feel old
things.
with that question, Aurelia. um,
I'm talking about the generation for 50 years from now, for example, you know, people that they are not even born. So you are
well,
talking with
first,
those
how
people.
I see myself in the future is very hard to say for me. I do not portray myself in the future. It's very hard for me, and I used to be very ashamed, or not ashamed, but embarrassed, or yeah, even ashamed. I'm like, oh my God, I don't see myself in the future. I don't have. I'm not a goal-oriented person. Well, I am, but the goal-oriented side of me develops, changes, and shapes in a different way each 5 years or so. So it's hard for me to picture just, but hopefully I can get to have a child. And if I do not have a child, I just picture myself uh, happy with my choices, whatever they are. I see myself with plants because I have plants. I am a plant person as well. And living with less that I live now. I think I live with not with that much, but I think I could do better. um, and what could I say to future generations that I haven't been born yet, let's say? Life is beautiful. Beyond the end of the world, beyond the climate crisis, there's so much to learn. And that they are young and they have so much to offer.
So just live. Do you believe in
Yeah.
something that will change the world? Because you are talking about climate, you are talking about yourself surrounded by plants, and the climate change now, maybe they can kill your plants. Who knows what happened, you know?
Well, I
What do you
think
believe
that's
will
if
change the
I don't know
world?
if the planet, even if the planet like goes to hell and we are going to burn like, and it's gonna be floated and we're gonna float it until we're die because we just destroyed planet and blah blah because our way of living we was too pretentious and we were sick of whatever. Even though I think a new thing will come, a new era of hopefully a better humankind. It will come. I think we might die as a species, but life will continue. Life will continue, but we might, as humankind, we might
Oh,
just be like damn dead and we get what we deserve. But I think, yes, things will change. It's urgent. It's not totally our responsibility, which is important, because a very few people are responsible, super more responsible for the condition of the planet the way it is now. And I don't think we deserve to have on our shoulders 200% of the responsibility when I don't think it's totally true. However, I think as a society we will have a collective, responsibility to push forward and to ask for change and to provoke the change. But we did not. There are things that we do not choose to do, that were imposed and we're trying to cope with. There are other things that are in our hands that we can change, and we should, as much as we can. But again, people's realities are so different that we cannot blame everybody in the same way for not recycling. And I do believe things will change, because otherwise there wouldn't be no point to continue. I don't think it's fair to talk about climate change if we do not talk about hope and responsibility to take actions. Otherwise, well, let's just continue polluting until the end of the world, because everything is just like everybody's gonna die anyways, or let's kill everybody, or just let's start smoking if you haven't smoked, do anything you wanted to do before. I don't think it's a nice way if we do not talk about hope as much as responsibility. It would be too dark anyways, and when it's too dark, we need a bit of light to continue walking through the darkness. Otherwise, why? What's the point? So I believe things will change for good.
Leslie, I see that you believe things are changing, and I see that you believe in life, actually. Even if the human race is disappearing,
Life might
life is
continue.
continuing on this planet.
The planet might continue
So,
without us.
this is your
We
belief.
just believe
You
we're
believe
too
in
important.
life, of course. No, that's for sure. I want to thank you so much for your presence. It was a big exchange of big thoughts that you have, and it's a big pleasure to have you like a guest. I'm gonna say goodbye to you for now, and I'm gonna say goodbye to my listener. I hope there are many, and I hope there are going to be many in the future, because I have a lot of story to tell you with my special guests all the time, like the one from today, Leslie Velázquez. And that's it for today. See you in the next one. And bye-bye for now.